In this video you will see a demonstration of how to provision a Poly Real Presence Group Series endpoint, which supports the use of the Activate Endpoint app. In a previous video, Endpoint Activation using the Activate Endpoint app, the process of automatically activating compatible endpoints using the Activate Endpoint app was discussed in detail, and should be viewed before continuing. It contains important information and context about the provisioning process for endpoints using the Activate Endpoint app. There are recommended minimum software versions for all the supported endpoint types, which can be found in the Pexip Service online documentation at help.pexip.com. Before provisioning an endpoint, ensure the Activate Endpoint app has been installed on your machine, and that the endpoint you are planning to provision has already been created in the Pexip Service. The Activate Endpoint app is used with a unique activation URL, which can be obtained via an activation email, or for those who have access, from the Pexip Control Center. In this demonstration, the activation URL will be obtained via email. Open the email, then click the Activate button in the email body. This opens a new tab in your browser, taking you to your unique activation URL where your subscription details are held. Review the details on the page to ensure they are correct, then click on Launch the Endpoint Activation app. To allow the Activate Endpoint app to run, when prompted by the browser, click Open. If you are prompted to enable firewall or network access from Windows Defender, you must allow access to private networks, as the app uses your private network to activate the endpoint. The Activate Endpoint app will open. It displays your subscription details including the display name, video address and plan. Now you are ready to activate the endpoint using the app. For reference, to find the activation link via Pexip Control Center, go to your organization's Video Systems page. Open the menu for the endpoint. It's located at the end of the row, then select Activate this video system. In the window that appears, click the Launch the App button to open the app. Whether the app is launched by clicking on the email link or directly from within PCC, the subscription details including the display name, video address and plan are shown in the app. If they are not shown, close the app and click on the activation link to launch the app again. You may optionally start a network test by clicking on the Start Test button. Note that it is not required but can be a useful indicator. In our example, the test will be skipped. Enter the IP address of the endpoint you want to provision, then click Activate. If your computer's firewall prompts you for permission to allow communications for this application, please allow it. Enter the endpoint username and password. Click Continue. The app works through the activation process. Progress is displayed in the app window. As part of the activation process, the app loads the necessary configuration settings and certificates, if required, to your endpoint, and sets SIP as the preferred calling protocol. The app disables the H.323 protocol, but this can be re-enabled manually through the endpoint's local configuration if needed. Once activation is completed, you see the message, Video System Activated. The endpoint activation can be verified by checking the endpoint status locally, and for those who have access, via the Pexip Control Center. Navigating to the endpoint's admin web interface. You should find that the endpoint is registered to the Pexip service using SIP. The endpoint should also show that it is being provisioned by the Pexip service. In PCC, navigate to your organization and click on Video Systems. Click into the newly added endpoint and you should find that the status is showing that the endpoint is registered and being provisioned successfully. The final step is to check that the endpoint can join a call to test that it is working for calling. In our example, we can see that the endpoint is able to join a video call successfully.